So this is about course masters today. As normal, feel free to interrupt me at any point, raise your hand, or feel free to unmute yourself and start a chat. It's a nice small group today, so we can afford to have conversations and target specific questions that you've got. This is about the course masters and everything around course masters. And course masters is pretty important because course masters is basically the templates of the courses that you're going to be running. So how you set these course masters up will determine what units of competency are applicable for the particular course. It will determine the workflow and the steps that you're going to carry out for the course, pricing, default pricing for the course, all of those things that you might expect a course to hold. So usually we kind of look at training in two ways. We look at the courses and we look at the participants. And that's in course sales, we sort of divided things up in that way. So the courses we set up and the participants join the course through those documents. Okay, so just on the courses side, we've got the course masters, and from the course masters, we create the course dates. So the course master is like the template of the way the course should be run, and the course dates are those dates that are reflected delivery of a particular location. And that location could be an online location. It doesn't have to be a physical location, just has to represent a particular mode of delivery in that case. Hopefully that's pretty clear. So we're going to go through it. It's just just a brief discussion about course masters and how course masters are related to the content, and then we're going to go deeply into course masters as well. So I'm going to start high level first and then get down into the detail and even show you about creating new course modules which are related to the units of competency that are relevant for the RTOs. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to show you first of all a course master list, and the course master list is where you go up to the your ribbon at the top of course sales, and you can click on the courses tab, click on the publish tab, and then click on the course master icon, and that'll get you to the list of the course masters. So you found on the publish tab, and then click on the course master icon there. To that list, from that list, you can duplicate your course masters by using the add based on. I think it's like the fourth icon along in the list of course masters, and enables you to be able to basically duplicate a course master so you can easily create new course masters. And once you've got your course masters set up, my recommendation is that's how you create new course masters, because in reality, no matter really what you're going to be creating, often you're going to have an existing course that matches that. And you can tweak the changes once you've duplicated the course master. You can also add dates from the course master list, and you can do a number of other things. I'm going to show you a course master list in a moment. I'm going to go through the things you can see there. So the course master, actually, I'm not even showing my screen yet, am I, guys? You didn't remind me. Here I am talking away. I hadn't shared my screen. Sorry about that, everybody. You're probably wondering what the heck's going on. I wondered why I couldn't annotate the screen. So going back again, so this is the course masters, and you didn't see these, but I'll show you them now. I'll just quickly. I've already done the spiel, so I won't have to go into too much detail. But let me just see. I see that we've got some extra participants. Here we go, just admitting Kane into the class. So just check that he's okay. Just unmute Kane for a moment to check that he's all right.
Yes.
Hey, can you hear me, mate?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Cool. I'm going to mute you again, but
that's all right. I'm going to probably not be around just for about 10, 15 minutes, but then I'll come back on.
That's fine. No worries.
All right.
Worries. Cool.
All right.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.
Okay. So just in case Kane wasn't sure where we were at, we're doing the course masters page. Okay, everyone. So everyone can see that slide now, which is kind of handy. Okay, so doing course masters. Like I said, course master list, so we're duplicating course masters. Oh, we've got another, someone coming in late, it's all right. Juliet, she's coming in, that's great. Hopefully you can hear us, Juliet, welcome. So I'm going to talk about our course master review, just basically telling you what is in a course master, all of the fields. We actually covered this at the end of the last session, but I'm going to go over it again just to make sure the terminology is familiar to you. I'm going to talk about linking roles, namely trainers. In small organizations, you don't even need to link anybody at this point because you can just use the branch. Often the branch is where emails come from, but linking roles means you can send emails from those particular roles, but you can also send emails to those roles. So you actually communicate with the trainers as well. So we're also going to talk about linking files too. So I'll just show you how to do that. Okay, so here's a list, or here's a course master list. So again, we go to the Publish tab. I'll just get my little nifty little spotlight up. Okay, so you can see there we've got the Publish tab, and then we click on the Course Masters icon, and this gives us the list of the Course Masters. On the left-hand side here, you can see we can do filtering as well. Okay, so we can filter by course category, name, or branch. So if you get a lot of Course Masters, this is a pretty clever way of being able to make sure you get straight to the right Course Master that you need. And of course, from this Course Master, you can, oh, let's see, there's some comments in here in the chat. Do you see? Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining in, Juliet. Good to see you. We're all pretty good and surviving here, which is good. So the Course Masters list, we've got this set of actions we can do here. So the first one here, the action is to view the Course Master. It's like not being able to change it. Okay, so it's just a purely view format. You can edit the Course Master. You can also add a date to the Course Master. You can view the documents. Oh, sorry, not the documents. View the course dates. So view the course dates on the Course Master. And you can duplicate. That's the add based on. So what that add based on icon means. And finally, you can hide the Course Master or inactivate it. Now, just be aware, within the whole of Course Sales, you can't get rid of anything. Okay, so you can't delete anything. Everything basically is available forever and ever. You can't delete it. You can inactivate it, and you can hide it, or you can make a course date cancelled. But basically, there's no record, no document, no enrollment, no course date that you can delete forever. And the purpose for that is because there are so many interconnections between these different records. The last thing we want to do is lose one of them, because if we lose one of these records, suddenly we can't fix all the other records up. You click on a link and it doesn't work, and you're wondering what the heck goes on. So we just don't delete them. We keep them there. So even old courses, they stay there forever. Okay. I'll just check the chat. So feel free to throw any questions into the chat. I'm keeping an eye on that. So if you have any questions, just throw them into the chat. Okay, so now let's say we click on the edit. So I'll just go back and show you. To get if you click on this little edit button here for an existing Course Master, you come across a page that looks like this. And this page tells us all the information that's stored on the Course Master. So I'm just going to go through it pretty briefly, but just to give you an idea of the language so you get familiar with it, understand the terminology and what it means. So the name of the Course Master can pretty much be anything. It helps you to distinguish between your other Course Masters. And you might ask, why have a Course Master? Why do you have a different Course Master to another one? Well, the main things are, if you've got a different format, that is a different set of units of competency for that course. If you've got a different price, let's say domestic students versus international students have different prices, so therefore that could be a reason to have a different Course Master. Other things are things like having terms and conditions that are different, or having a different process path. So if you, for example, deliver e-learning courses and you deliver face-to-face training, and it's the same course with the same units, but they are completely different ways of delivering the course, that's a good reason to therefore have two different Course Masters, because number one, they might vary on price, but number two, they might also vary on the process path or the workflow that you're going to apply to that particular course. We have the course category. This is the name of the course. Now, think of the course category as the sales description of the course. It doesn't have to be an ASQA name or word. It just has to be what you think your customers will look for. Now, that's not to say you're not going to include the ASQA word and ASQA reference. But just to say at the course category, we recommend you choose things that the customers will be looking for. So if the customers look for Bachelor of Design, or maybe they look for Bachelor of Fashion Design in this case, you can change that course category to match the name that you know your customers are going to be looking for. A duration of days is the time that you want that course to last for. Basically, it's how to calculate the end date of the course. So that can differ from your course format, which also includes your times. You can specify effectively anything you want in there. And for most instances, to be honest, it doesn't really matter. For most training companies, the duration matters very little, because you decide on closing your course when it's started. For those people who are taking continuous enrollments through their course, you could literally put 9,999 days in there. You could allow your course to last effectively for the next 3 or 4 years, and that's perfectly fine. Of course, you have to make sure that you are moving the start date forward to fall into the reporting year that you want to report. But generally speaking, the duration can be as long as you want. I'll talk about how you control whether a course is completed or not, which tells us whether it should be displayed on the website in a little moment. So the course format, we're going to go into more details about this, but this tells us when the units of competency, what units of competency are applicable, and we design that in a course format. I'm going to show you the details of that. I'm going to show you how the topics on the course format are created and how the topics are linked to something called the course modules. Okay, so the course modules are what we include our EVETMIS data on, so all the unit of competency information. Course description is just a marketing description of the course. It might also include some of those obligations that ASQA have around declaring if there are any prerequisites, declaring if there are any requirements from a licensing point of view, or minimum requirements around language levels or literacy levels or numeracy levels. Any of those sorts of things you might want to include in the course description. And that makes sure that, if you've got a number of different touch points during the customer process, you can make sure that the customer has received the right information at the right time in multiple formats, whether it be by email as well as on the website when they're making their booking. On the branch is a sales group. So let's say, for example, you have a Queensland office and you have a New South Wales office. You could have 2 different branches. That allows you to customize the footers and the emails to the customer. You can also actually have a completely different workflow associated with it. So the branch allows you, and branch is actually used quite often by organizations who maybe have co-providers. So the branch is often a co-provider, and that determines, like I say, the type of communication that goes out to those customers from that co-provider who maybe want to maintain some sort of sales ownership over that customer and therefore need a consistent branding. Terms and conditions are around the sales, the payment terms and conditions, but also maybe goes beyond that, talks about the responsibilities of a student within the classroom, maybe talks about the responsibilities of yourselves to be able to deliver that service to the customer, and things like, what do you do when you have a pandemic? And what do you do with the customers? Do they get their money back or not? Those sort of questions might come up there. So that's covered in your terms and conditions, and they can be varied, like you can see here, varied depending on the course master. Most organisations have a common terms and conditions across all of their courses, though. We've got the 2 different paths. We've got the course date process path and the document process path. These tell you the workflow. This is the steps that you will conduct or manage an enrolment in or a document in. And the other one, of course, for the course date is the steps that you will manage the course in. So managing the course includes things like managing the trainer, managing the venue, perhaps managing licensing or any other obligations that are course related, not individually student related. In the case of a document might be used to, that's an enrollment, right? So it might be used to manage the enrollment of the student, literally the registration of the student via the website, taking payment from the student, checking to see the outcomes are recorded, checking to see that the enrollment receives or the student receives their statement of attainment. Anything like that, which reflects the path of the workflow of the student, that can be included in this document process path. We've also got the document topic forms. The document topic form is what we use when we record the outcomes. So if recording the outcomes for a particular unit, the document topic form tells us what the outcome is, maybe with the start date and the end date. You can also record, if you do funded training, some funded training information there. And then finally, price is pretty standard. Our price is the price the student's going to be paying. And the RRP price is the normal price. So if there's a difference between these 2 prices, then the WordPress plugin and the public version, the listing of the courses will actually say there's a discount here, and it will calculate the discount for you. Minimum price is used when we have automated pricing set up. So if you do want to automatically reduce prices by a certain percentage leading up to a course, or maybe increase the price by having an early bird discount and then slowly increment the price weekly. This maintains assurance that you will not go below a certain price. so you don't end up giving courses away, which could easily happen if the runaway process of discounting courses was to occur. Now, we've got a question here. What do you need to do if the course description changes? How do you update it? Okay, so if the course description changes on the course master, you can update it under the publish and content area within course sales. And once you update that course description, the change to that course description will then flow through onto any course masters or any course dates that are using that course description. Now, if you want to vary the course description on a per course date basis, so let's say this is the default course description, but if you want your one course date to have a different course description, you can do that. You just go into the course date and you can choose from the list of course descriptions that are available to you. And again, if you need to update that, you can actually update it here. So when you put your mouse over this field, you'll have a little edit icon that will pop up. When that does, you can edit the course description right here from within the course master. So that's pretty handy. No worries. Happy to help. Okay, and then over here, there's talk about alternative course prices. Now, this is a quite sophisticated method of managing pricing. I'm not aware of any of you guys who are connected today using alternative course prices, but that allows you to have, say, different websites with different prices. It allows you to have, say, customers who receive particular discounts or increases in prices depending on what sort of services they're requesting. So alternative course prices are applicable once you get to a point of dealing with corporates or dealing with multiple websites. So if you get to that point, let me know, and I can go into more detail about how to use that. Okay, so that's the top part of the course master. See, it's not a small amount of information that's being gathered here. It's definitely something that takes a little bit to master. Master, it's kind of a little bit of a joke there. But you can, once you understand the course master, and hopefully these are all set up for you already, you'll be able to become a bit of an expert in working out and tweaking them. So often it's about tweaking the existing course masters rather than having to create them new. So on this next page for the course master, we've got, I'll start on the right-hand side here, which we talk about the course topics. Now, the course topics come from the format that's on the course master. Okay, so the format is linked to the course master. I'm going to show you a diagram shortly, which interconnects all of these topics, masters, course modules, etc. So just bear with me. There's a lot of information to take on here. So I'm just going to give you that more information a little bit later, but just be aware that it is possible to copy any changes to course topics. Let's say there's another unit of competency added to a format. This allows you to copy them to all those scheduled course dates. And the reason why we do it to all the scheduled course dates and not all of the course dates is because we don't want to touch or play or damage the existing courses that are out there that are underway. Last thing we want to do is muck everything up. Now, if you have made a mistake or forgotten to copy in certain course modules or topics rather onto the course date and the courses have already been completed, you can change the course from completed to scheduled, copy those course topics onto those course dates, and then proceed as normal, changing those course dates back to completed so they don't appear on the website. So you can do that. You can definitely do that if you need to. So looking here, you can see there's a bit of currency information and financial information. We've got the currency here listed. We've got the default payment group. This is applicable if you're taking online payments. We've got the tax rule type, which tells us whether we include or don't include GST on this course. By default, this particular setup doesn't include GST, so therefore a tax rule type hasn't been selected. And then catalog group as a list of products that you might want to sell alongside your courses. So if you're, say, selling a fashion course, maybe there's a book we can send to the students, or maybe there's a one-on-one tutorial that we can sell to the students, or a membership, anything like that that you want to sell alongside. And it's, you know, when you go and book an airline ticket, they'll ask you to offset your carbon and book a car and all these different things that you can buy in addition to buying your ticket. Well, it's the same thing here. You can sell additional items, additional extra items from the catalog here by having a catalog group. And then we've got the listing here of total place. So total places is the number of people you would want on a course. And did I remind you that we've got a bit of quiz coming up shortly. Okay, so I'm going to be quizzing you all on your knowledge about these things. So it's an incentive to write notes and to try and make it stick into your head. So there'll be a quiz coming up about these things. So total places is the total number of people that are able to go on the course before the course is then deemed to be too full to take public bookings. So public bookings stop when we hit that total places number. And in fact, when it gets close, I think when it gets to about 75%, a little message comes up saying places are filling fast. Okay, so that's a pretty cool message that can come up, and you can actually engineer that to happen early on. If you want to encourage people to book on fast, you could actually reduce your total places to say, let's say you've got 2 bookings on it, reduce your total places to 3, and that message immediately comes up. As long as you go back in there when you get your 3rd booking and increase it to 4, you can constantly have that message up there so that students are incentivized to make a booking. And so while the total places is then displayed in the list on course dates as red, there's a little red bar that comes up, you don't have to, you can actually still take bookings. So if you wanted to as an admin, as an operator, you can still add bookings. And to be honest, if you decide that you actually want to run 2 of those courses, or you've got a venue that can cater for more of them, then you can increase that number. So if you increase that number from 10 to 15, immediately we'll be back on the website and taking bookings. Okay, so a pretty cool way of keeping track of how many bookings you've got. And that can be tricky because often bookings don't change to registered, which is how this is measured, until USIs are verified. So you might find that, managing the exact number is a tricky thing to do. Public or private, basically this is include on the website or not include on the website. That's what public or private mean. So if it's a public course, obviously it's on the website. If it's private, it doesn't get displayed on the website, but can be scheduled nonetheless. Make completed is the number of days that we should wait either before or after the course date that we stop taking bookings, because you might not want to take bookings right up until the date of the course. You might think, okay, students need to have at least a week's worth of notice to do all the necessary reading for the first day of the course, and therefore we're going to put a -7 on that make completed. So 7 days before the course, you stop taking bookings. That can be a way to make sure you restrict people coming on the course who aren't going to be prepared to do the learning. Alternatively, you can actually make it happen afterwards. So if you're running a course, let's say, which runs for a number of weeks, but you know that people can join in a day late and it's still okay, then you could make that completed 1, 2, or 3, and whatever number of days you're happy to have that occur. Now the status is whether or not this is an active course master. Once it's inactive, all the course dates are taken off the website. So active is the right one to have here. And then we've got links. So links, we talk about adding files. So you can link files to a course master. That makes those files available to be included in emails that you might be sending out, default emails, templates, sending out to customers or sending out to trainers or whoever you happen to be sending emails out to. And then adding people by role allows you to be able to send emails to that person. So a common people by role is a customer contact. So if there's a customer contact set up, this is the person maybe who is in the case of, say, a first aid organization, it might be the medical supervisor for a particular medical center. It's the main contact person, and that's who you might send off an invitation to take a booking for. So adding people by role means you add somebody who's a customer contact, and they then receive those emails that you need to send. Okay, that's pretty much it, I think, for Course Masters review. Tell me if you've got any questions about either of those slides. Happy to answer questions. Let's see what we get to. So I've got a little bit of this is just a quick quiz, and then I've got an even more exciting quiz. Okay, so just test yourself, and maybe if you want to, write in the chat which one of these actions can be performed from the course master list. And I'm very happy for you to cheat and go and have a look at your website and to have a look at what's on the course master list and choose more than one. Okay, so there's more than one here that is applicable. So feel free to choose them. I'll give you a few moments to do that. In the meantime, once you've done that, actually, once we've got a few people responding, I'll set the other quiz going.